So, for today's episode, we will be talking about Thousand Year Blood War, Heart, Byakuya. I guess you could say this is a renewed version because there was that version that was, at least the look of it, was from the same episode, except he was released in the first ever batch of Thousand Year Blood War characters, along with, I believe, Saijin, Shunsui, him and Toshiro, I believe. I believe they were the first four. Adult Toshiro, Byakuya, Saijin, and Shunsui, Bankai Shunsui. Okay, so this character was a character that people have been waiting for a while, to be honest with you. When this guy originally came out, this model with the head wrap and the cloak, um, he was one of many people's favorite characters because of how unique he was. He was like a hybrid character. This guy now is not a hybrid character. Instead, this guy is like super like one of the best SP characters in the game currently. And I would go far as to say he's probably the best heart character, heart SP character in the game. The best or the strongest, whatever you want to say. And why is that? Why is he so effective? Why is he so good? Well, let's have a look. On his SAs, he has both paralysis and weaken. One telltale sign of a character is good or not is, well, one of the telltale signs, one of the telltale signs for a high-end character. Usually these characters really only end up months, get multiple killers, multiple status elements, multiple soul traits. Then you kind of know they got a special treatment. Now, just because he doesn't have a second killer doesn't mean he ain't getting special treatment. He's got human killer plus, which is very valuable. It's a 40% increase, the base. So what makes him so good apart from the obvious? Well, he's got an EX skill, which is very valuable, which shields him up with a shield of Simbon Sakura petals that fly around him and keep him protected. I don't know how long, it's like 20 seconds, 15 seconds. So that's very valuable. He has Havoc, 20%. He has a Sprinter plus 2, so you can give him Long Stride if you want. It might be a little bit more effective, but he can move around pretty well. He can move relatively quickly. He's got 40% increased strong attack at full stun, which is a nice innate touch. Havoc plus 20, like we said. He's got base 60, so out the jump, he's getting 100% base 60, 40 at full stun. He's got the very valuable 14% strong attack recharge, which is very valuable. He's got complete status immunity. Shared status immunity would have been better, but they gave that to be honest with you, I'm not going to go into it for another episode, but the lesser character on the banner, if you know who I'm talking about. He's got Frenzy plus 2, very nice, standard. Bombardment plus 1, very nice. Debilitate 5 seconds, very nice. Increased status element chance against humans. So they can either get like against the killer or against the advantage type. This is against the killer. So no matter what color human, he's gonna have an increased chance. No matter what type, technique, heart, power. On the other side, if they would have given him increased chance against mind enemies, then he would have been a little bit more effective against every type of enemy. Human, Espada, Soul Reaper, Hollow, blah blah blah. He's got a team party booster, increase soul reaper damage to status element affected enemies 30%. This is always nice to see, really, because some characters are just to just be played, like the team has to be played around them. There's a lot of characters that are like that, Kenpachi, Granny's, characters like that. He's got weakened defense, which is nice because weakened defense is something that I feel like is very undervalued. He It's not valued enough, especially if he has weakened. So especially if they have weakened, you want to put weakened defense because it's a nice combo. He's got Poise Break, which I believe, if I'm wrong, please tell me. He's the first character outside of Anniversary to get Poise Break. He's got Sharpshooter, obviously because he's ranged. And he's got 8% SP boost. So what can you really say about this character? He's essentially perfect. He really is. He's essentially perfect. Skill-wise, there's not much to be... there's not much to really say. You could say, oh, okay, maybe he could get increased damage to paralyze enemies or weaken enemies. What else could they have given him? Maybe barrier, because he is Byakuya. I mean, technically he's got shield, so barriers maybe not needed. So let's talk about his actual SA kit. I believe, so he's got a full screen at SA3, I believe. His SA2 is a lunge, almost like a splash damage, kind of. And then I believe his SA1 is a beam forward. So his animations are not revolutionary. They're not the best in the game. They're not even the best in heart, but they do the job. They're very quick. They're not janky. He's a very smooth character to play, very fun. But how does he work in different game modes? Well, let's have a look at Arena like we always do first. So he's at level 3. As I said, if you watched my previous video, I ranked them through level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 1 would be a character that has no arena support. Level 2 would be a character that has plus 10 but doesn't have a bonus on the second skill. He just has plus 10 and then the mid one and then the last one. And then level 3 would look like this. Plus 10, bonus, mid, end. So this is a level 3. This is a character you want to bring into Arena. If you do play Arena, he's got all the kit. The only issue really is, again, kind of, he does have sprinting plus 2, but the issue really is, again, long stride. For Arena, characters just need long stride. Like characters like Sophon, I believe Oetsu has long stride. I'm not too sure, but characters with long stride work really well. So, how does he work in single player? Perfectly fine, as long as you have Kilgay on your team that's running 20% recharge. He can move fast. He can kill. He can dominate. He can pretty much do anything any other good character can do. There's not much to be said, at least on that front. Human killer. Humans are probably, honestly, in this game, the most challenging enemies, or they can be, especially if you're going up against difficult content. He does pretty well, again, because he has that shield. He has the bonus 40%. So as long as you kind of are fast enough to dodge and move around, there's not really any single player content that he's going to struggle with. How does he work in Guildquest? He works pretty good in Guildquest. Again, you kind of need a proper team. It's not really too good to rely on one character in Guildquest. like the whole team has to work together really. And again, he doesn't, unlike his counterpart, he doesn't really have Gilchrist skills. So he's not as good in Gilchrist as his counterpart on the banner is. How does he work in? Obviously, he doesn't really work in Brave Battle, so there's nothing to really be said there. How does he work in Limit Breaker? He would be pretty good at Limit Breaker if the time need be, where you need a character like him. But again, he doesn't have the type of stuff that Heart, Ruruka has, Yuha has, Technique, Rangiku has, who they have built in Limit Breaker. Same with Rampage. So he's not going to be good as characters with Rampage or characters that have built in +2 enemies killed. What else do we have? What else do we have? Give me 1 second, because I do have bad memory. So co-op, yeah, co-op. He's good in co-op. He's good in co-op. He does the job, and again, he does help the team. As long as you're playing with Soul Reapers, he does help the team. So it's always nice when characters have this, because then you kind of are more pushed or more lenient towards actually using them in co-op if they have to. A lot of people don't pay attention to this type of stuff. A lot of people don't pay attention when they should. If you really want to get like the most out of characters, you should be paying attention to team party bonuses. Obviously, the most important team party bonus is the 20% recharge that are on one for each element. We haven't seen any other ones yet. I don't think so. So how does he work in raid? He's pretty strong in raid. He's very, very, very good in raid. Again, he does the job. He has barrier, which helps him in raid in case he does get hit. So usually characters with barrier, they kind of get a second chance at life, because a lot of the times in raid, if you mess up once, you're kind of screwed. But with his barrier, he's able to tank maybe a hit or two. Obviously in raid you can't inflict status elements, so the fact that he doesn't have any of these bonuses is not really helping. He doesn't rely on damage bonus to He does also have status element spiritual boost, so that's gonna maybe affect him, but it's not gonna make him completely useless. Obviously, someone like Oetsu is gonna work. Speed Oetsu is gonna work a lot more better than a character like this in Raid, because he gets, just pure damage, 140% pure damage, as long as there's not an element. And because you can't put an element on Raid bosses, he's going to be insanely powerful, but that's a video for another day. He's got the complete status immunity, so he ain't taking no damage from inherent zone fire pools. He ain't getting paralyzed, he's not getting confused, he's not getting any of that. Smooth sailing for this character. What else is there to talk about? Let's see. So Gilchrist. He's good in Gilchrist. Again, Gilchrist is really dependent on what if it's ranged, if it's melee, what are the enemies, the killers, stuff like that. So a character is only as good as what is needed. Senkimon. Senkimon, there's not really much to talk about Senkimon. Senkimon, you can use anyone, as long as you know what you're doing. It's not a big deal. I think that's pretty much it, really. So what is there to say? Well, Heart, 1000 Year Blood War Byakuya is an amazingly powerful unit. If you have someone like Kilgay as well as him, you can make him even more powerful because of the sad recharge, the spiritual pressure recharge. If you have characters, so say a couple banners before you summoned and you pulled not zombie, Hollow Bankai Toshiro, do you really need this character? I'd say they're about as both as good as each other. You might say one is better than the other for different reasons. He has one killer. Hollow Toshiro has two killers. He's more quicker. That guy's got Toshiro's got bonus to frozen enemies 100%. But again, let's catch it for another day. Also, keep in mind, I'm judging these characters at 1 out of 5. The reason why I'm judging these characters at 1 out of 5 is because most people who play the game are not going to 5 out of 5 every single character. So I'm speaking to the common player that just wants to get a hold of the character. How do they work when you get a hold of the character and you pull just a copy to see how they are? They're the ones that I'm speaking to here. So obviously, if you've pulled Toshiro, or if you've pulled any of the other high-end heart units in the game, oh excuse me, that's a mistake. You should really. It's not like a must summon. You know what I mean? If you've pulled Kiryu, Ichigo, Kilgay, if you have Bruno, maybe Bruno is a little bit outdated. I wouldn't say Kilgay is outdated. She is okay. She's got Drain, which is good. But if you have like Ichigo, Kiryu, Niltora, it's not a must summon, but if you're missing both of these two, I'm gonna be honest with you, they are leagues above the rest. These two here are considerably better than Ichigo, Kiryu, Niotora, Kilgay. Although Kilgay does stand out because he has the rampage, but he's missing some other stuff that has kind of made him age a little bit poorly in my book. But I was one of the people that thought that Kilgay, and I still to this day think that Kilgay is stronger than this Ichigo, but that's just my opinion. So these two do stand out above the rest. They are considerably stronger, considerably faster, considerably safer to play, and they work better in most game modes. So I would say if you have Hollow Toshiro and you're trying to save for end of year, I would say maybe not summon. Maybe not summon. Because within 6 months, again, he's going to be filler within 6-7 months. So maybe not summon. But unless you're a big fan of Byakuya and you've been waiting for this look and this character and this comeback, as in the show, then obviously you're going to want to summon and probably get him 5-5. But unless he's your favorite character, as long as you have other pretty good, I wouldn't say decent, I'd say pretty good to great hot SP characters, it's not a necessity to summon for Byakuya. Yes, he is considerably stronger than most other heart units, apart from Hollow Bankai Toshiro. Them two are, like I said, are stronger than most heart SP units. But as long as you either have him, the Toshiro, or some of the other units I mentioned, it's not a must summon. It really isn't. Okay, so that wraps it up for
挽回を奪われたことで、私は千本桜の真髄を今一度見極めることができた。
that wraps it up for Heart Thousand Year Blood War Byakuya Kuchiki. If you like this video, subscribe and come back for more, as I'll be doing more of these, breaking down more characters, how they work well, And it won't just be, I will also be breaking down characters who are not just crazy strong, but characters that maybe were underwhelming or could have been better. And I'll explain why they're underwhelming, how they could have been better implemented. So stick around for that. And if you like the video, like, subscribe, and see you then.